All right, everyone, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024. If you're not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Again, sale is live site-wide there. So codes are below here in my pinned tweet. 60% off first month of active trader. Almost risk-free to start. And 4 for 4 today in the trading room, too. Good start to the month yesterday also. Good trading day here, too. But let's get into it. So markets here, finishing up 22 cents on the spiders. So basically a nothing burger. And, you know, again, we closed roughly within $1 of everybody's favorite strike price, which is $5.70. And that remains to be a level here. And you can see it there represented on the futures. We're below that. And as long as we're below that, I'm still going to give sellers the bias. That said, this morning we did, do a pretty good job of sweeping the low right in the morning, basically the first or second candle, and then we just kind of V-shaped up there. Guess what level held, right? And then we just kind of backed off and did nothing for the rest of the day. It was actually a pretty good day for trading as far as ranges, but, still frustrating to not get resolution here. We've been in this range now, since the post-FOMC day. Right, so the 19th of September, it is October 2nd right now. And we did do some technical damage yesterday. So we talked about the cycle date yesterday that did come into play, and we're still below that level. We'll see if we follow through. The challenge is here for bears right now, as I outlined yesterday and I think even Monday. But really for right now is the geopolitical stuff going on. And the reason that is a challenge for bears, you'd think that it would be the opposite, but it's not. Because if things escalate, it's just historically the way things work. Central banks are just not going to be extra hawkish if there's geopolitical tensions. There's a reason why they say buy the invasion. That's one thing. I think that's even lesser right now, though, because I don't think it's going to escalate too much, at least at the moment. We did see oil continue up, but it came in off the highs. Again, higher high. It's not showing me panic right now. But that said, the bigger challenge, as I outlined yesterday, is that with that, you have jobs data this week, right? And there's already event vol premium baked into that, meaning that there's already, a wall of hedges, right, to, usually going to be to the downside. And now there's even more because of the geopolitical tension. So even if we get an awful jobs number Friday or even tomorrow with jobless claims, it's going to be hard for the market to stay down. So that's where you get those, angry kind of bear comments like, why is the market not going down? Why are these idiots buying the dip? It's good. There's nothing to do with idiots. It has nothing to do with anything like that. It's a mechanism of the market. So that can be a challenge this week. And it's probably why we remain so supported, even despite, a lot of this poor headlines that have been coming out. But again, sellers, as long as we're below 570, I'm going to just give the sellers the buys. We will squeeze above that, though, if we do get above that level. With acceptance, we tried to accept yesterday, just didn't quite do it. Couldn't get there today. Technically, for what it's worth, you have lower highs here, too. And, if we go to, like, the futures, you're kind of just bear flagging, right? They're flagging below support. So unless we were, previous support, it's resistance now. We tested it, we backed off. So we'll see what we do tomorrow. Now, jobs today was a 50% month over month beat. And there's an interesting dynamic going on there too, right? So I said, like, it's probably not a good idea to be long like a TLT here. And look how much that got smacked. ADP is the private sector, right? That's like the not as manipulated number. The manipulated number is coming out Friday. And if we beat by 50% month over month, I would not be shocked to see a 3 handle. I mean, what's the expectation for Friday? 118K. I wouldn't surprise me if they jacked it to 330 or something like that. Why? Because there's an election in 5 weeks, guys. So I think that there's a lot of people trying to be long. A lot of people tried to buy bonds yesterday off that, off the news, and I said, it's probably not a good area. Just anyway, especially with this job stuff. So that was my thesis there, and I still think that's the case. Now, now the dynamic is: does the market like a big jobs number, or does it dislike it? Because on one hand, it's good because it means the economy is less likely to go in recession, right? We talked about the yield curves the other day, actually, yeah, yesterday, and over the last week or so, 2 10s have pulled back in, right? But on the other hand, if yields go up, that makes rate cut odds lower, and that's what the market really loves. So it'd be interesting to see how the market reacts to that. I'm just kind of assuming it's a foregone conclusion we're going to have a big jobs print. If we don't, I'd be really surprised, and that'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to that. But either way, event vol, make sure you understand it, because that's what moves markets a lot into these big events. But again, bottom line, as long as we're below this area, I've got to give sellers the bias here in the short term. Trend is still up on the daily, no problems, above all the moving averages, but short-term seller control here. Triple Q is up 14 basis points. I still don't love that loss of 486. Watching this trend line here for a possible pullback pocket. Russell 2000 finished down. Again, still a little bit weak here. This is vulnerable if the market rolls over. So we have lower highs and lower lows. So if the market gets weak for whatever reason, expect this one to dip more than the rest. And then, of course, the Dow holding up better. You get a little bit more of a risk-off situation. The Dow's going to perform better. Still has an island, kind of like the IGV does, or did, which we'll talk about in a minute, but it's still pretty firm. Look at that. It's three tails, three days in a row with tails after a topping tail. So interesting. But Dow holding up, and market again holding it pretty well considering all the bad news. SMH up 1.5. I don't think that's getting through 250 this week. This has still been a bit of a laggard here. It was strong today. We actually had a day trade on it. It was actually strong this morning. That's what kept us, or got us on the long side earlier. But no follow through, and a little bit soft into the close. But it is holding. If we lose those moving averages again, it could be a little bit of a concern. And again, down here, that'd be a good area for a near-term bounce at least, I think. IGV, again, up 85 basis points. Again, island top, outside move down, bounce here. It's still holding the 20 MA, though. So still strong in the big picture. But near-term weakness. That's kind of the theme right now, I think, for the whole market. Dow Transports here, again, down almost 1%. Still holding yesterday's low, though. Still like the bigger picture on this, but again, near-term weakness. 2-year, again, a little bit higher here today. Big jobs beat. 5s, 10s, 30s, all higher. 30 looks interesting. And here's where the narrative, I think, could change if jobs cause yields to really break. Like if you get above 4.2, above this pivot here, if you get above 390, 4% on the 10s, I think definitely that would be problematic for the market. The market would start to look at it and say, wait, is the Fed cutting into growth here? And that would be something that the market's not really priced in right now. So that's, again, one risk. I know I've said this probably every day, but I just want to make sure everyone understands that there's a very important dynamic here, because we're in kind of this period where bad news is not quite bad news, but it's also not quite good news either. XHB has been pinned for 3 weeks. No need to update there. If we lose 120, it gets interesting. VNQ down 34 cents, so still working on that daily kind of lower high, lower low. And I still think this can go test 94. That backed off a little bit today. Fins were a little bit on the weaker side pretty much all day, although XLF did close. Yeah, closed green. Let's see. Yeah, JPM was flat. I mean, yeah, these were mostly flat here. Regional banks were weaker, though, down 22 basis points. Let's extend this out here. So we have kind of like a false break of this wedge. And we're now kind of into the lower end. We'll see if that bounces. That should pick pretty soon, right? Next couple of weeks. Again, same kind of look on KBE. I'm going to get rid of this old line. We don't need that. So pretty straightforward there. Broker dealers still holding up very well. Very strong bull flag. Volatility is very good for them. Oil tried to continue higher today. It made a slight higher high. Finished up 1.6, but that's not much, right? You know, again, so like, if there's escalation fears, like somebody knows about it, right? Someone with a lot of money will know about it. And I just don't see the buying here yet. You're telling me we can't even close above our 50 moving average? So there's like World War III is about to go on, right? And oil is below its 50-day moving average. Does that make any sort of sense to you? So that's what I think about when I hear these headlines going off in terms of what it means for the market. We're not talking politics here. I don't want to hear anybody in the comments, well, Aaron, Israel, I don't care about that. We're talking about markets here. So oil getting a good bid. I like the higher low. I do think it will put in a low by, you know, the next month or two, I think. Probably around election time. But it might have one more low to make. Or it may just need to, you know, make one more higher low. XLE, on the other hand, up 1%. It did trigger, I mean, technically this is valid. That's a valid inverse head and shoulders. And it triggered today. So if we want to take the liberty of, let's just do this. Doing the target, we'll just say 52-week highs, right? There's the target. So we'll be watching XLE with interest here. XOP kind of has the same pattern. It's a little bit sloppier. I'll draw it right here. It didn't quite trigger today, but it's definitely in the ballpark. And there's the OIH there as well. So kind of like that. So I think energy stocks are definitely interesting. CCJ continues. Look at this resistance. It just smashed through it. A couple days of consolidation, just right through it. So CCJ is still strong. $50 is probably about it for now, but very, very nice price action there. Uranium still holding up well. URNM trying to consolidate. That big up move, and the NJ a little higher high there. So NJ even acting well. Nat gas with a big pump earlier, but it came back in. I think this needs to consolidate. I think the 20 MA needs to catch up to price. And then I think we see it well above 3 by the end of the year, and then it'll be done for a little while. But lots of volatility in that. A lot of overnight volatility in nat gas lately, too. Dollar index continuing up. So that's 3 in a row. And it looks like that bull divergence I've been talking about for probably 2 weeks now is starting to play out here. So there it is. You can see it on the daily. It's even there on the weekly. So this is going to 102. 50 MA, pivot low, pivot high, right in that area. You know, not perfect. And then 102.50 is your next level. If you get above that, we can talk about 103 and past that. But right now, good bounce there. And, you know, since everybody cares, you know, good move there for the carry trade. US dollar yen up 2%. Gold dipped earlier and then came back in. Still got kind of a bull flag here above the moving averages. That can still go higher. No sell signal on that. GDX just off the highs, not as strong as gold. Same thing with XJ. Silver tried to break out earlier. I told everybody in the trading room, be careful. We had a sell signal on the 4-hour, and it did pull back in pretty nicely. It's still very strong, though. This is just a day trading signal. And then you got a bull inside bar here beneath a big level. So it does have kind of that, like, almost more like on the daily, kind of like almost like a cup and handle type look. But either way, bull inside bar trend is starting to strengthen here. Platinum was up nicely here. The pattern's sloppy, but it's trying to turn around. And then palladium was up nicely as well. We'll see if that can reclaim. If that can reclaim 1050, it can try and work its way back up. That's starting to get a or try for a higher low here. And then copper here up 1.6. I still think there's a lot of resistance right here, but a little bit more consolidation, I think you can go through it. Do you imagine if copper goes back to $5 this quickly? Right, I mean, that's an all-time high, right? It has done similar things before where we maxed out, we came back, and then we dumped. We maxed out, we tried to come back, and then we dumped. So even right here, we made a slight higher high. So it's not that it hasn't happened before, but we'll see. Still got a monthly big wide range inside bar. So copper, good day there. Bitcoin was really strong early. It was weak, then it was strong, then it was weak again, right? So it was down last night, came up, then boom, V-shape all the way back to 62.4, and then just faded all the way down. So I have some levels done on this here. I do like this trend line right now, at least in the near term. There's another kind of level I'm looking at, which everyone in the trading room knows what I'm looking at, if we get there. But suffice to say, I mean, this trend line's good for now, and I would say around 58,000. I think there's a fib here too, around what, like 50? Yeah, 50, yeah. There's 58. There's a 50% fib there. Your 618's down in this area. So no breakout, but we do have higher highs. And if we get a third higher low here, I think this is going. And it's amazing how quickly sentiment changes on this thing. Like everybody was like super bearish here. Everybody was super bearish here. Everybody was calling about Uptober here, and then like 2 days later, it's like, oh, it's over. You know, everybody's getting dunked on. So that's fine. I use that to my advantage. But Bitcoin, you know, backing off here. It's got plenty of room for higher lows. That's what bulls want to see. So overall, again, you know, market's holding up pretty well, but we definitely got a good slice yesterday. Onus is on the bulls to get back above that white line. And you know, a close above obviously would do it, but even intraday, if you can just accept and then start to push back up, if we had done this and then started to just inch higher towards the end of the day, that would have been a buy, and this would have squeezed up big time. But we'll see what we get. Jobless claims tomorrow morning, then non-farm payrolls on Friday. We'll see you there, and I'll be there to break it down. So anyways, you guys take care. Have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys all tomorrow.